So Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, text number 25. Nainam chinnanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakah, na chainam kledayanti apo, na shosayati marutah. The soul can never be cut into pieces by any weapon, nor burnt by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. Some extra characteristics are mentioned here in this particular verse about the soul. Nainam chindanti sastrani. The weapons cannot cut the soul. Nainam dahati pavakah. Dahati means to burn. Pavakah means to fire. Fire cannot burn the soul. Nainam na chainam kledayanti apo. Apo means water. Kledayanti is getting moistened. So water cannot moisture the soul. Moisten the soul. Na so sayati maruta. Maruta is air. Maruta, the air cannot dry up the soul. That means all the physical characteristics that we experience with material things is not available or cannot be applied to the characteristics of the soul. Now, if we understand that the cannot be cut means, I mean, none of the weapons like sword or knife or any other weapons cannot cut the soul into pieces. So the soul is not material thing that you can cut into pieces or slice into small pieces. Now the soul cannot be cut into pieces and the soul cannot be killed by any of the weapons, be it fire, be it air, be it water, be it anything of the material elements. All the material elements put together cannot cause any harm to the soul. Now all these weapons that are mentioned, now you can see that water is mentioned, air is mentioned, fire is mentioned. It can be understood that there were varieties of weapons, advanced variety of weapons that were used during the Mahabharata war, during the war of the Kurukshetra battle, in the battlefield. That means there were weapons consisting of earth, water, fire, air, and ether. As of now, what modern science knows is only fiery weapon. To some extent, there are some biological or chemical weapons, but mostly they are all fire based weapons. Even the nuclear weapons are considered in the fire weapon zone and classified in the fire weapon. Now, different material elements, earth, water, fire. Fire is one that is used as a weaponry, and air and ether, they are also material elements. These material elements cannot be used for destroying the soul, or cannot be used, or these weapons, even if these things are used, they cannot even harm or touch the soul. Now the soul cannot be cut into pieces, and the soul cannot be moistened, dried, withered, wetted, moistened. Nothing can be done to the soul with respect to the modern weaponry or anything like that. Those who do not accept the existence of the soul, they can also be considering this fact that the person or the body is living because of the existence of the soul. And if some people do not accept for the existence of the soul, there is no way that it can be proved that life exists without the soul. Because if the life is coming, if the life is made available by the combination of just matter, then it would have been possible in several ways in experimental methods. But so far it has not been possible, which basically means that existence of the soul alone gives rise to life, or it gives rise to consciousness in the body. Now, just like parents produce babies, so when the baby is born, the parents don't lose anything of their own. Even though the baby is born out of the body of the mother or parents, they are the part and parcel of the parents, yet they are not, it's not like you cut open something and then you produce a baby. It doesn't happen like that. Even after the baby is produced, the parents are intact. They are self-same personalities. Now, similarly, there is God, there is Supreme Soul, and the soul is a eternally separated part and parcel, which basically means that when the soul is coming out of the Supreme Soul, right, it is not that the super soul loses anything of their own existence, of the own existence. Doesn't happen. Just like the parents produce babies or any living entity produce their own offsprings, the parent remain the same, the offspring grows. Similarly, the soul also is a part and parcel of the Supreme Soul. That does not indicate that the super soul starts to diminish just because the soul has produced from the super soul. I hope that is understandable. Now, we should understand that they are called eternally separated part and parcels. The soul is considered as eternally separated part and parcel, which basically means that you cannot ask the question when the soul got separated from the super soul, because the question when does not exist, because time did not exist when it happened. So you cannot ask that when it happened, because before time started, that happened. So the question when does not apply. Where, because the space did not exist then. When we speak, we have to have time and space in our sentence. You cannot make a sentence without time and space. So because we cannot make a sentence without time and space, anything that happens before time and space existed, we cannot comprehend, goes beyond our comprehensory level, right? Now, we can never become same as the Supreme Soul. We can never become same as Supreme Soul, or we can never merge back to the Super Soul, because that's why it is called eternally separated part and parcel. That means they have been separated, but they are not going to merge back. Eternally separated. So when they are eternally separated, you cannot merge them back at any point. Text 24. अचेद्योयम अदाह्योयम अक्लेद्यसोस्य एव च नित्य सर्वगतस्थाणुर अचलोयम सनातनः. Achedyoyam. So the similar thing is mentioned. Achedyo means you cannot cut. Adahyo, you cannot burn. Akledyo, you cannot wet. Sosa, you cannot dry it up. Nitya sarvagata sthanu. Nitya means it is eternal. Sarvagataha means it is everywhere. Sarvagata means it is everywhere. The soul is everywhere. Sthanur achaloyam sanatanaha. Achala means it is immovable. Immovable basically means that you cannot change its constitution. Just like the bodily constitution changes. We were a small baby and then we were young and then now we are at a certain age. The body has changed. So the body has changed but the soul has not changed. So that's why it is called achaloyam sanatana. Sanatana means it is eternal. Now when it is said that sarvagataha, sarvagataha basically means what? It is all pervading. The soul is existing everywhere. When I say everywhere, it is everywhere. It is everywhere means it is in a place where even we cannot think something can exist. For example, the soul can exist in fire because the fire cannot burn the soul. The soul can exist within water. The soul can exist within acidic or highly basic environments also. The soul can exist within electricity, high voltage electricity also, because the soul is not affected by those. What does that basically mean? That there are living entities in the sun, because the soul cannot be burnt by fire, and they have got bodies made out of fire. There are certain times I got an information that an acidic tank was cleansed at a certain point, and they found at the bottom of the tank some worms. It was heavily acidic environment, and some worms were found in that, which basically means that the soul can exist even harsh environments, because the soul is not affected by no, by those environments. And we should also understand that achedyoyam akledyoyam अदाह्योयम अक्लिद्वय सोच नित्य सर्वगत स्थाणुर अचलोयम sanatana. Achala means it is immovable, and sanatana means it is eternal. So please check in the description, and please you can like and subscribe. So thank you very much for going through this. Let us see the next one.